Hi everyone, so welcome back to Fresh Progress Beauty. Before I begin, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on my social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, comment, all that good stuff. Thanks, and it would mean the world to me. So for this video, I decided to call it From Capping Gown to Career. And I feel like this is really important for young professionals to know just different ways of how they can not only be productive, but they can be productive, they can network, and they can build a career that they like. Now this video, I truly recommend it for junior and seniors in college, persons in grad school, kind of people who already have their feet wet and kind of have an idea of what they want to do, or their inklings in terms of like somewhat idea of their strengths or somewhat idea of their weaknesses and their overarching career goal. So, and let me begin saying that this is my own personal opinion, and that I'm just pretty much sharing my truth. I really hope you guys can see me. So, let's begin. So, I guess the first part, from capping gown to career, I'll have this part be productivity. So, you're in some sort of, if you're watching this video right now, I'm guessing you're probably in college, or you're in grad school. If you're not in either of those, you have an internship, or you have an apprenticeship where you're working in the field. You're in the subsector that you're interested in, which is a great start. So that's the first tip I would give. The second tip I would give is timing is everything, and that to be productive, you have to really account for percentages of your day. And that means having a planner. That means using sticky notes if you can. I know people who have one index card and they write everything they need on that index card for the day. But having some sort of organization system that you know, everything doesn't have to be planned out perfectly. I don't get every single thing done on my list that I want to. But to have an organization system, that means if you're being bombarded by friends or a professor or a mentor or a contact in your field, and they're like, hey, can you grab lunch on Thursday? And you're like, Thursday? What's happening Thursday? You know, me, I've had times where people's like, could you do this internship? Could you do this thing? I'm like, can you give me 1 second? Get my planner, I look, I'm like, oh, Thursday's free? Yeah. And they've been impressed. And not only impressed with the fact that I can see my week, see what's in front of me, and brain dump everything into my notebook so I don't have to remember things too much. You know, save your willpower, save your memory for things that is needed, like a test that you need to study for, rather than memorizing what dates you have to do this, or assignments and different things. But if you can, like, it's kind of this system from I forgot the name. It was like Getting Things Done, and this idea of brain dumping everything into your planner, your organization system, so it kind of frees up space in your mind for you to memorize other things, like people's names you're meeting, rather than, oh, like, I have something's due this day. So free up some space in your mind. Another thing I would say for productivity is to prioritize. And this is a balancing scale, so it's very difficult. Prioritize academia versus social life, or prioritize career versus academia, or prioritize family over career over academia. So no one can tell you how to prioritize, but your priorities should be important, and not only important, but important to you. And people have different modes. So I was watching another video, and the woman was talking about having income producing outputs or something, like, not the fact that like everything you do is somewhat income producing. And the person who was making this video, she's a realtor, so she's more from a business standpoint, but I thought that was very interesting, and I kind of want to add that into my lifestyle, where I'm doing things that are income producing, that are might have some delayed gratification, but I know in the future it will be of an asset to me. So that's also a good way to look at things. So what are some examples of income producing outputs? I don't really have a lot of examples, but some examples she gave was networking. Networking can open internships, mentorships, can open just information. You know, people forget that, oh, you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know, but sometimes who you know just tells you things, information that you can use to better who you are, you know? So I think that's really important. Another thing you can do is to build up some conversation starters. Now this is much easier said than done. For me, being like introvert, extrovert, where like if I'm in a big group of people, and depending on my mood, I'm also kind of moody and sensitive, so I might be quiet, I might be talkative, it depends, you know. But if I'm in small groups, I can talk, I can lead a room, public speaking is very easy for me. So I kind of play up to my strengths most times with these kind of things. But have some conversation starters. So I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, like, what do you mean? Like, you know, saying, oh, good, how are you doing? Like, what field are you working in? Like, you know, those are kind of generic, kind of, I would say. But conversation starters could range from what's in the news. It could range from you listening to podcasts and then having something interesting to say about that and then telling someone else all this information. It could also range from your anticipation or you being so excited to have a moment of vulnerability with someone that you really want to make a connection with, and that just being a conversation starter. So another thing I want to tell you is don't tell people your dreams, show them, show them, show them. That's pretty much been my output and my motto for everything, you know? And I'm always I'm very strategic. I really want to always have something there. Like my worst fear is to be like stagnant, you know? So show people your dreams, and if you have a moment where you're not on the right foot or something's not going as planned, you know, don't let that get to you. Look at internships, look at fellowships, reach out to mentors, reach out to career services, and just always be pressing on and putting your best foot forward. And even sometimes when you don't feel up for it, you know, give yourself that motivation that you can do something important.